This session is about addressing the uncertainty ahead and how GRC can support your business strategy and performance in today's pandemic world. My honor, ladies and gentlemen, to introduce to you Carol Switzer.
I am the co-founder of 𝗖𝗍𝗘𝗫, which was originally called the Open Compliance and Ethics Group. Through that process, that just bringing together and integrating what in many companies were 8 or 10 different topical silos, that beyond the need to bring them together into a common approach, there was a need to tie that commonality and integrate across all aspects of risk management and to feed into governance, why you address risk and compliance issues, why you have internal audit. And we developed the concept of principled performance.
My honor to be invited to be able to share some of my insights as a CFO and also as a board member of some of the companies. Now, I must maybe just a quick mention that actually I look at it that during this entire time, COVID has really brought business leaders down on their knees because it is back to the drawing board. And I think it is no longer business as usual. It is all about looking at the overall business objectives because the objective has to evolve with times. I think COVID has obviously required businesses to look at their business objectives very differently.
The takeaway I have from COVID-19 is this aspect of monitoring things that may give rise to risk, that may cause you to maybe change your objectives, but also potentially change your strategic approach to those objectives, takes on much greater importance.
And these 8 trends tell us that we cannot execute our business strategy without thinking about what's happening and the implications of COVID-19, as you said, in the long run. What are your thoughts?
I think that when you have a fully integrated approach to GRC and you have that aspect of being able to continuously be monitoring critical risks or threats that may turn into significant risks, you at the same time have the opportunity to be monitoring for change that could give rise to opportunities.
In the past, I think the way most organizations will look at it is that if you go through an annual budget exercise, for example, you just have the strategy for the year, you just get on with it because you just want to hit the numbers. And I think at the same time, what is also very common is that I used to use what they call an enterprise risk management approach. Look, now what we do is we do a rolling forecast. You do a business impact because today you may have an assumption, by the time you finish your budget, it's out the window. You do what they call a business impact approach. It's a very different approach because you then take into consideration all the factors. If one variable changes, the rest change.
You need to have a technology system approach that can pull in what's relevant and mapped to your business objectives, to have your monitoring be related to your business objectives and have those objectives tied to back to see, oh, something's happened.
You heard from our panel speakers that a lot of companies focus on performance review. So in compliance, risk management, you struggle because you struggle for management time. And you heard from Charles just now, who implied that actually a lot of these processes are siloed and there's a need to align back these efforts. Now I'm going to switch gear to data protection. There's actually a professional certification called GRCP.
We have members of 𝗖𝗍𝗘𝗫 who, like Charles, are a CFO or a CEO or Chief Ethics and Compliance Officer, Chief Risk Officer, who themselves want the certification, but more importantly, want to train their teams, people that are coming in that are new to their area of work.
What I found was that the videos that you guys showed, the case studies that came, the case studies were real case studies of organizations in the real world.
Principled performance is not a risk management concept. It is a paradigm for the running of the business, to a different perspective to look at the business from. How can we identify the uncertainties and address them?
Question is, smaller firms who have no GRC formally may be intimidated by the terms GRC because of lack of resources and the enormous undertaking across functions.
There's an opportunity for standardization in a lot of smaller organizations. So for things like drafting policies. You'll set up templates that are standardized in their approach. Or the service center might provide audit of the GRC capabilities, review what you're doing with your risk management.
So I will share a real example of what I'm doing right now with one of the smaller SMEs. I think at the end of the day, it has to start from the top, which is the owner.
Wearing your DPO hat. What are some of the current trends in terms of weakness and opportunities that you yourself have observed due to COVID-19 in relation to monitoring and transferring of data, as well as outsourcing of your data processing activities by third parties?
So one of the things that I've done so far is each time when there is a Data Protection Commission ruling, for example, we flesh out all the different key aspects. And the first question I ask is, can this happen to us? Right now, with COVID, there's a lot of things being done regionally. During COVID, we actually have a COVID crisis management team. So what we did was this: we have a group chat, and the group chat is only for the 4 people.
How do we then convince and bridge this gap? What type of role will benefit the most out of this, especially if it's in a data-rich company?
I've been hearing quite a fair bit from business owners. I'm only worrying about business survival. I got no time for this. But I managed to talk to one of the business owners recently to talk about the approach without mentioning GRC. I think if there's a tool, digitized tool or whatever can put together, then I think this can be sustained because it can be done anytime, any part of the world, and whichever time of the day. You don't have to be coming together. What I went through to the course with Straits Interactive when you have that software, I thought that was very powerful because then they will allow me to continuously evolve, because this process is not static. It will continue to evolve because you've got to go through the whole process again, because the next pandemic that comes, you've got to relearn. And then you got to get on and look at the rest of the functions as well.
You have to start with something small where you can show success. In a lot of organizations, that has been revamping their approach to policy management. And in fact, because of that, we've created another model that goes even deeper into policy management.
So if you are in compliance, you're in risk management, principal performance gives you a chance to be part of that planning meeting and all the points that Charles and Carol just spoke about. I hope this encourages you to take the next step. Now, why not expand it holistically across your organization?